Our Black Friday sale is live right now, 25% off the entire site, all of our handmade leather goods, including all the new stuff that we released. And if you're confused maybe what to get your guy or gal, we made a little buying guide to explain all of our products and what ones you might want to get for certain hobbies and types of people. So check them out below. I think I might have found a pair of Doc Martens that I actually might like, that I actually might wear after basically 4 years straight of talking nothing but trash about Doc Martens because of all this junk on the inside, all their sneaky branding and marketing. But when I saw this little pull-on kind of roper boot, a big aggressive luggy sole, looked like pretty nice leather. It's like, that's exactly what I need, and that's the kind of boot I've been looking for, because I've got my really expensive Viber $2,000 Cordovan pair that have a similar vibe. But even me have a hard time beating those things up, so I've been looking for a handy little kicker just like this. But is it actual quality, or is it more of this? Is it a boot that you could depend on, or just a fashion boot? Is Doc Marten actually starting to improve their products like we saw in their Made in England docs? So what is this boot? Well, the brand is Dr. Marten. The style is the Anistone Lo leather biker boot. They weigh 1 pound, 10 ounces. They retail for $170, and they're made in Laos. And that's different from some of their other boots. Like, these are made in Thailand. Some of their other boots are made in Vietnam. Their Made in England docs are obviously made in England. And there is a difference in the quality of build from their Made in England pairs versus their Made in everywhere else pairs. But it also comes at a premium price. These are over 200 bucks. These are under 200 bucks. So I'm assuming these are more built like the garbage docs. But we can always hold on hope. And the way they position this product is start your engines. Our new Anistone Lo biker boot is built from rugged, burnished, waxy pull-up leather with extra leather loop and punched with branded rivets. That's one thing I really don't like about this. I hate these little corny little Dr. Marten rivets. And also these pull tabs are not big enough to even pull your boot on. Set on our elevated Beck sole with signature DM grooving and yellow welt stitching, tagged with our unmistakable black and yellow heel loop. So at least the heel loop works. So it's not, these are clearly just for show. And that's what I'm concerned about. Like, how much of this is just a biker boot in quotations, and how much of this could you actually ride your motorcycle? How much could you actually depend on this boot, like some people depend on their workwear? So if you do want a pair of these, check them out via links in my description. So what is this burnished, waxy pull-up leather? Well, they say it's a premium full grain leather with a wax oily finish with subtle pull-up effect. And it's not full grain. This is like, it's kind of crazy how many times, it's like every single boot that's more affordable, they say it's full grain, and it's never full grain. Because this like matte finish comes from them slightly sanding and buffing the top. But it is clearly waxed. It has a lot of like stuff worked into it. It feels like a nice saturated leather. It's not super thick. It's only 1.7 millimeters thick. We did the burn test, and it is definitely packed with a bunch of waxes and oils because it takes a little while to burn. We looked at the cross section, plenty of grain still left in there, even though it is a buffed finish. So overall, it is a pretty decent leather. It's way better than their fake top smooth leather that Doc Marten is known for. You know, there's obviously caveats with that. They're known for the really shiny, high plasticky leather. It just is not good, in my opinion, compared to a more natural leather like this. We also ran the puncture test, only scored 42, you know, so it's starting to look like it's more built like this boot. But if you start looking at the inside, it is a little bit different because this boot is fully lined up the shaft of the boot. It's a pretty common material. It looks exactly like the material they put in Timberlands. It's not insulated, but it's that kind of lining. It's a surprisingly coarse and like hard lining material. So if you are wearing these boots, you're gonna have to wear tall socks because that's such a tough fabric on the inside of there. It's gonna rub your skin off. You know, ideally, I'd rather have it unlined in a little thicker leather, but you know, this is a budget-ish kind of boot. A lot of people have no idea that Rose Anvil started as a leather goods company, and especially a camera gear company, because in 2018, we launched our very first, well, a second Kickstarter, raised $500,000 for a camera harness. COVID hit immediately after, and so we started cutting boots and shoes in half from a professional leather worker's perspective. And then that whole thing happened, you know, now we're nearly at 1 million subscribers. But I finally got around to designing all the rest of the camera gear that I've been wanting to release for like the last 5 years, starting with the little slim wrist strap, cinches down, hand sewn. It's our belt thickness leather, so it's super sturdy. Our slim neck strap, same kind of concept. Really simple attachments, solid brass, hand sewn details, a little neck piece there. The lasso link, which is one of my favorites because this thing is super articulate. You see all these little individual pieces and how they flow and move around. Our Lone Bandit that you probably heard me talking about plenty, that holds one camera about as comfortably as humanly possible because it distributes your weight over a larger surface area. And then the Big Daddy, the full Bandit harness. This carries 2 to 3 cameras because you can get a third camera attachment with the Pro package, and everything is designed by me and handmade right here in the shop. So if you need to get some Christmas gifts, some birthday gifts, if you need to upgrade your camera gear, or if you got an old camera just sitting around, you need a good excuse to pull it out, get yourself a little strap, check them out below. And thanks for supporting our handmade leather goods that makes this whole channel possible. But if you look underneath, this is where I start to have a little hope for this boot, because you can see it's a half sock liner in there, a little bit of foam underneath the heel, and then the whole forefoot is not like this, where you've got a different patch here, and it's got a fell point naturally built in. It's more built like this. It doesn't have the full length sock liner, but it's that fiberboard underneath your whole foot, which is one of the biggest issues and fail points in Doc Martens. If the welt doesn't split, usually the internal components start to split because they highly prioritize comfort over anything else. Or their made in England pairs are a little more prioritized towards durability, towards the heritage, towards the true Doc Marten style. And this kind of seem in that way. Because even this outsole is more similar to their more rugged made in England Doc Martens. It's not that you can't get this in any other Docs, but I like that they went with this one, because this one, as you can see, this one doesn't have voids in the lugs. You know, it's a pretty thick and hardy outsole compared to the really thin one that people wear through with just the regular Doc outsole. And that's why people love Docs, because these outsoles are really, really soft. They're PVC, so they have a lot of squish, a lot of rebound. They're allegedly pretty durable, but not when you make them super thin. But the hardness comes in about 55 to 60 Shore A. So that's where you get a lot of that squish. And people get confused about this airwear tag. You know, people think it's kind of an air unit like you see in Nikes, where it's compressed air and it bounces you back up. It's not. It's literally just the fact that there's voids in the heel that allow air to be in there, which nowadays is like, okay, that's what every sneaker has. But when these were first designed and invented in the late 40s, that was revolutionary. Nobody had ever done anything like that. And that's why they got this reputation of being so comfortable that still persists even till today in 2024, even though if you wear a pair of Docs for longer than a couple miles, you're like, oh, these are not that comfortable. We did the bar drop test, only bounced up 2.2 inches. The puncture test did okay at 124 pounds. And this looks like it's built just like the other ones. This is that Goodyear Welt in quotation construction, where you really only have one stitch line going to the inside. And then instead of that stitch line sewing the outsole to the midsole or the welt, they heat fuse it. And that heat sealing is what causes occasional fractures in the sole, because instead of sewing it, you're just like kind of melting it together. And so anytime you're melting things together, it's a recipe for disaster. So it's looking a little 50-50 to me. It seems like it's somewhat built more like the made in England ones, but internally could easily be built like the cheaper Docs. So let's cut it in half and find out. Okay, we got them cut in half. Is this the Doc Marten I've been waiting for? Is this finally the one Doc Marten I'll actually wear? Well, let's find out and see what's inside. Thank the Doc Marten gods. It's built like a made in England Doc for under 200 bucks. It's basically built identically. You know, you've got that patch of foam underneath your forefoot, that wool-ish looking material for the midsole instead of the cheaper foam that breaks down over time and flattens out. You've got the full-length fiberboard without any of those felt points in there. You've got a pretty decent leather. Now that we can see on the inside, you can see this counter cover. Is it real leather? It looks like it. Nope. Fake leather. I was holding on for hope just in case. But now you can see what I meant by that really coarse lining. So is this the boot that I'll actually wear from Doc Martens? Construction-wise, it surprised me. It makes me wonder why they don't make all their boots like that. It's gonna be pretty comfortable. You know, it's built about as good as Doc Marten makes a boot. And the styling is really not bad. The only thing I hate about it, style-wise, is this little pull tab. They're useless, and they got these cheesy little rivets on there. So are these better or worse than the regular Docs? They're better. Better leather, better internal components, you know, through and through. It's a lot closer in quality to the made in England Docs. And if I were to say which is better out of these two, they're on par. You know, they're very similar quality across the board. And the only difference is this one's made in England and this one's made in Laos. But we've seen one of the biggest differences is how that outsole is fused to the rest of the boot and the difference between the made in England versus everywhere else. So let's do a quick pull test to see if we can get this outsole to separate from the welt. Because sometimes they're tough, sometimes you can just rip them apart like a Ziploc bag. Oh, that seems pretty tough. Yeah, maybe Doc Martens finally doing it. Maybe people are catching on. That's the beauty of the internet, is brands get exposed, not just from like channels like mine, but people actually wearing these. Because before the internet, how do you get your voice out when you have a terrible product? And brands had so much more power over the market and the perception of their brand, but now they have zero control. So I'm hoping that this is the result of that transparency and that they have to improve their products because people are catching on. They're paying pretty high price for pretty terrible product, and that's the hope, right? I'm hoping that Doc Marten gets better and better instead of just chasing those margins, trying to convert new customers, trying to honor the heritage and the lineage of the Doc Marten brand by improving their boots, which hopefully that's what this is. So when it's all said and done, is this the pair of Doc Martens that I'll actually wear? I don't think so. I think these pull tabs bug me a little bit, and it's just lacking a few of the quality components I was hoping for. And more than anything, I just really don't like this lining. So props to Doc Marten for actually making a pretty decent pair of Doc Martens compared to what they usually make. It seems like it's up to the Made in England standard. So hopefully that's the future for Doc Marten, and it's not a continual downward spiral in the drain. So let me know what you guys think and your experience in these various Docs and your opinion. And thank you guys for supporting these videos and helping us show you what you're actually buying, which ones to maybe consider, which ones are better quality, which ones are complete garbage, because it's a really strong way of how we keep these brands accountable. So thank you guys for your support. See you.